What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with ProSlime. Castle level is a 17, so we'll jump into it on my knight. And let's see. Alright, so these are all linked together. Battering Ram, Cyclops. Alright. So you're using these guys. Unfortunately, these guys are pretty bad at these levels. You can see he's only doing ticks of 7 damage to me. And, you know, when you get up to level 28, it goes from like 40 at level 24 to around 250 or so at level 28. So it's a huge jump, a huge increase when these guys get up to their, I think they're rank 4. So they're not the best usage of Stairmasters. That specialization isn't really the best usage of them. It's probably the worst until you get up to that level, and then it becomes like really viable and possibly the best. Alright, so 3 Cyclops. I think that's a little excessive. If anything, I would prefer you to like turn them different ways, because if they all hit at the same time, generally only 1 or 2 of them will hit, not all 3 of them, because it kind of makes you fly back. And if they're already up in that like you know, kind of they're charging up for their attack. If the first one hits you and you fly backwards, the other 2 will miss because you kind of auto dodge it. So I'm not really a huge fan of like a ton of Cyclopses in one group, though. I think they're a little weak to volleys to have them all kind of just standing together. If I was an archer, I could initiate on this with a volley, and you can kind of notice where I can stun these guys as well, and they don't really get hits off on me. So I prefer to have just 1 or 2 Cyclopses with like archers or something in back that are dealing damage from farther away. So as you can see, you know, I fly backwards like that, so if that other Cyclops was charging up to hit me, that's why you kind of want them to be attacking at different timings. You want to turn them around or move them back a little bit farther away from the attacker or something like that, so that they hit at different times. So one of them will knock me down, and then the other one will come next to me, start charging up, and hit me as soon as I stand up. So yeah, what I'm noticing about your castle is that archers are going to really have an easy time going through it, at least up to this point, because you don't have anything that's big enough to take a volley shot. So archers could just use Caltrops and volley on top of it, and everything would die in almost all of your groups. This is the first one that probably wouldn't die in a one-shot volley, although he's a little under-leveled for where you're at. You have, I think, level... I don't actually know. I'll have to look at your Cyclops as the next one I see, but I think he's underleveled. But you don't really want to use Pete Poundmore's by himself. He's 16 points, so generally you want 16 points, 1 point out in a Snotter so that it spots for this for the Pete Poundmore, so you can't like initiate on him. So basically, you can have like the Pete Poundmore here. You can have a Snotter linked to it way out here or something, and then you could have something supporting it, either a Bad Dog or a Bone Puppeteer for 3 points, and that works pretty well. That's like the standard way of using Pete Poundmores. Yeah, so your Cyclopses are level 16, but your Pete Poundmore is only level 12. So you'll want to get him upgraded, or else there's no real reason to use him. Alright, some archers. See, I like this a little bit better, because you have these archers that kind of come, you know, they attack from a different area, so they're kind of blocked from volleys and stuff like that. And they're just overall better, I think, than using multiple Cyclopses. The Stairmaster would be good too if it was high enough level, but with how low damage it does at these low level specialization Stairmasters, it's not really worth using them on this specialization. Generally, people were using them on the purple eyeball specialization. That doesn't work as well anymore either because of camera rotation and all of that. But then there was also the teleport one, which isn't that bad. I never really liked it because I thought that the purple eyeballs were better, but now that those are kind of useless, I think the teleport specialization probably does more overall DPS than the other two. Alright, and then the boss room we have a Robo Shieldatron, a Dr. Skull. I'm not sure what the Dr. Skull is on yet. Probably heal. Yep. Alright, so he's on heal, which makes this a little bit more difficult to actually kill off. It's good for wasting time, I suppose, but I should be able to do it as soon as I get rid of that Cyclops. Now I don't really take any damage, so I just have to get away from the traps and just slowly tear this guy apart. So just spam Smite whenever it gets up, stun him a little bit. Alternatively, I think that I could like run backwards and the Dr. Skull would eventually get out of range of the Robo Shieldatron if you don't have quite enough DPS. I think the Dr. Skulls have higher movement speed, so I could run back like 1 or 2 rooms, and eventually he would unlink, and you'd be able to kill him without killing off the Defendatron. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good castle. I think you need a few more elites, and that one Pete Palmer, you should probably fix that up as well. Get him up a level and, you know, put some supporting units for him. So we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up we have Switcher 7. I've attacked his castle a couple times. He was in the last competition as well. He's level 32. He's got a pretty hard castle. So let's hope I don't die in it. If I play careful, I should be okay. Alright, so we have these rotating cannon traps. Decent DPS. They're more guaranteed DPS than other traps, I think. I can't believe that didn't actually hit him. Well, I can volley this and it'll pull the group. You've seen me use this a couple times in my castle as well. You got these Stairmasters. The only problem with this is that the kind of playing field is a little bit too wide. I can kite these back and they never will hit me. You kind of want to lock down the playing area when you do this with traps. So you want to have something that kind of forces me to stay in this tunnel a little bit more than these rotating cannon traps. Yes, they'll pick away and do a little bits of damage, but you want something that if I react too quickly like a spike trap, I'll take a bigger chunk of damage. I actually missed that bear trap. Luckily I dodged out of the way though. Bear traps are really good against these spiders. I like this group as well though. I have one similar in my castle, and the combination of a spider plus a Stairmaster like this can lead to a really devastating combo, where you get hit and knocked down by the spider and the Stairmaster throws one of those things on top of you right afterwards, and you take like 3 or 4 ticks of damage. It can lead to like, you know, 1,600 plus damage, which is really good. Alright. So I think I know the room that is coming, and I think we have Explodifiers. Yeah, alright. So I'm going to kind of just wait around for them. I could just keep going and like pull the next group. And if you want to get through a castle quickly, if you're looking for loot or something like that, that is the correct way of doing things. If you want to just get through it, aka during the competition when I was doing castles, I was taking my time quite a bit, because the competition parameters state that you have to complete the castle with at least 1 star remaining, and it's based on potions, so you don't want to take extra needless damage. Like, I could probably do it without dying more times than not, but I would probably use a potion a couple of the times. Alright, so we have a Scorpio. This is actually going to be kind of painful to... Well, actually, he's on the slow specialization. I actually think he would be better specifically here on the pull specialization, because you're trying to pull me into the next group and make me, you know, have to fight 2 groups at once. This specialization isn't really that dangerous in my opinion. Alright, so this is pretty difficult. I like this group actually. I like this whole setup you have here. I died from it too. Yeah, this is good. That Ballista Trap crit me for 1,200, so that's slightly unlucky for me. But I do like the mines here, and I like how you kind of cramp the playing area. Like, this is a good way of using that Stairmaster there. I might actually have to steal this. Or something similar, at least. Yeah, I like how all of these groups kind of force me to think about going back over that spike trap. You know, I have this Cyclops and these Stairmasters chasing me, which are very space dependent. If you have a lot of space to deal with these guys, they are actually pretty easy to take care of. But when you have this cramped playing area right here, it's a lot more difficult. So that's pretty good. Alright. So your castle probably goes this way. Alright, so we have a Mr. Boom Boom somewhere around here. Looks like he's pretty far away, that's why the derps are coming around. He used the derps to chain it even longer this way, which is a little annoying. I'm going to have to wait around for it for a little bit. I think I see... I don't know why this Defendatron thing is up here. I keep thinking that I see something through the wall over here, but it's just kind of up there. I don't know. Oh yeah, there is a Defendatron way up there. I think it's probably in this tunnel though. And there's a derp over here as well. I don't know if this Mr. Boom Boom's actually coming. He might be stuck back there. It's pretty easy to stick these units and kind of force you to pull two groups, which is a little bit exploitive in my opinion. I mean, it's been patched before, this type of thing. Alright, I'm going to have to go back. Where you used to be able to block minions with other minions, and they kind of patched that through. But these big explodifiers and Mr. Boom Booms, the kind of problems came back, but it's basically room dependent. There's just certain areas, if you block it off with a mine or a trap or something, that Mr. Boom Booms can't really travel through. Because they're just so huge. But now, of course, he freed up, which tends to happen as well. So I really would like to get rid of the Scorpio so I can just deal with this Mr. Boom Boom, but... Alright, so this is a good room to use these as well. You have this cramped playing area here. He even has a mine so that I can't really... I have less area to move around in. I'm probably going to have to go back over this. And there I took an extra 450 damage from his spike trap. So that's kind of... I've went over this about 3 times. And that's like added to the fact that I've had to use 2 potions kind of within this same room. And then I got hit by another ballista bolt there, because I didn't react quick enough, and took an extra 600 damage. So, you know, that's kind of how you add this sustained damage to your castle. It's really important at level 32. It's all really about trap damage. I think if there was no traps, people could stay healed up just off of the globes dropped by minions, but... with traps it makes it a lot more difficult. Alright, so another Mr. Boom Boom. I think that's the 3rd or the 2nd, I don't really remember. Might be the 3rd that I've fought. There should only be 3 because a lot of the people at level 32 who partake in these competitions, the basic parameters that have been set up is you can only have 3 of one elite group, which, you know, kind of saves you from that, you know, full Scorpio castle or something that we've ran into before. So it's a really good requirement to have. Alright, he's slowly coming towards me. I have to pull back because they'll get at a certain range and they won't come any closer, so you have to really pull back for them to actually come towards you. He should be coming around the corner anytime now. Unless he got stuck. Yep, there he is. Alright, so I'm going to stay out of trap range and just take care of this guy. It'll take a little bit of time, but he can't really kill you. I actually think that explodifiers are kind of useless in the current... with this current patch because of how the time is all working. You have something like 12 minutes to get through a castle. Explodifiers are never really going to kill you. These guys, on the other hand, are pretty good. They have enough tankiness, and their little spawned minions can actually hurt quite a bit. But the explodifiers aren't really anything but kind of a nuisance in terms of time. So I might start taking those out of my castle in the coming weeks. Alright, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that was a nice little trap you had set up. The dampener actually adds a lot to this as well. If I was able to drop traps just a second earlier, I would have been able to stop that Cyclops from hitting me again. Alright. See, I like that quite a bit. Alright, I'm thinking I'm probably pulling 2 groups by doing this. Because I hit those two guys there, but it looks like nothing's coming. So I guess there is nothing actually linked to these derps, which is interesting. And this is another derp that's just kind of here to screw with my mind. Alright, drop a volley on this. It's kind of useless to actually drop a volley on it, but I will. So I have to realize that the Scorpio is fast right now. Alright. What do we have in here? Cyclops Defendatron. I would really like to be able to pull this. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to, though. It's really good how you stop this angle. The only thing I want to test is something as soon as I can get over here. Alright, so... Okay, so I do have a free spot there that I can stand and initiate the combat, but that's not really a big deal. I can't skip the group entirely, which is good. And you can't really get a good angle on this group in order to make it so you don't have to go over that spike trap twice, which is kind of exactly what he wants, right? He wants to force me to go over the spike trap multiple times. And I've already gotten hit by it at least once. I waited for the thing to spin around the first time I went over it, which can kind of at least negate the damage a little bit. And then you have another group in here, which is another one of these kind of space control groups. This one doesn't deny the angle nearly as good. I am able to headshot this Defendatron. Not the biggest deal in the world, but it can chunk him down. I can even one-shot it, I believe, with a really good crit. As you can see right there. But it's still a little bit annoying to deal with. That one's not as hard as some of the other ones I've encountered, where you literally just have no angle whatsoever and you almost are forced to go back over the spike trap. Alright, what do we have coming here? An IMAX. I'm not really a huge fan of IMAXs. Their radius is a little bit bigger, their damage is a little higher, but their resistances aren't that high overall. So they are able to die pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I pulled 2 groups, which makes me have to go back over the spike trap, which is not ideal. Like I've said, battering rams at level 32 are very good. Yeah, your castle is going to be tough to get through during this competition, I can just tell already. I'm going to have to take it really slow, because there's a lot of areas in here where I'm going to take a ton of damage. You could see there's a little bit of this weird situation where there's like this, one of the last patches there was like this K'ing system, whatever, for your abilities. And if you are out of mana, it won't do it right away, but then it'll put you in the attack animation if your mana approaches that point. Like, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but basically I run out of mana and I tried to use volley, but I didn't have enough mana right at that second to use it. And then a second later I got enough mana and it just put me into the attack animation and I can't cancel it whatsoever. So basically I like threw the ability down at the right time so that I'd be able to drop it and then dodge out of the way, but it put me in a second later, so I had to sit inside of that that displacement field thing, and it did a ton of damage to me. So that's one kind of annoying thing that is in the game right now, and not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a little annoying. But yeah, you got a really good castle here. It's definitely going to be difficult to get through. Alright. Made it through. Really good castle. But yeah, we will jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, next up we have Sheriffen. Castle level is 23. We'll jump into it. Alright, so let's see what this pulls, if anything. It looks like that's just a fake. This pulls everything, though. Maybe those actually did pull something. I need to see to see how many units actually come from this, because it seemed like a lot that I just pulled. Alright, so if you kite this guy back a little bit, he will de-link from the Defendatron. That's pretty standard though. It's pretty much fine because I wasted a lot of time doing this. 2 Hunger Bots. Is that a Zeke? No, 2 Smelly Archers. 8, 16, 20, and then another 20-point group. Yeah, so I did pull 2 groups. I'm not sure exactly how I did. There has to be another room over here, maybe? I'm not sure. I guess I'll see as I go exactly how this is set up. Alright, so you've got some tank groups here which will tank for your archers. That's okay. I think that's fine. Good players will probably be able to dodge the archer shots, but it's not a bad setup. Alright, so he must have had them over here. Pulled through the wall, although that seems kind of far. I don't know, maybe I just didn't notice something. Maybe I shot 2 derps afterwards or something, I don't know. No big deal though. Alright, so I pulled a couple groups. We've got the Defendatron. I guess he was supposed to link, so I see what was supposed to happen, I'm pretty sure. So I think you pull the first group, and then that group walks around. He had the Defendatron right here, which will link to something that walks around. I'm not sure exactly what would have led the charge around this area. Maybe a Hungerbot or an Archer. So that way it kind of forces you to either pull back even farther, which this is a pretty straight room, so if it was an Archer I'd have to pull all the way back around this corner to be able to de-link it from the Defendatron, or you have to pull 2 groups like I did there. So pretty good setup. Here I have to kill off the bad dog. I don't have to, but I could either kill off the bad dog or I can do 0 damage to the Zeke regardless, so because he was defended. So that's good on covering your angles so that I can't get a shot on the Defendatron. Use split shot, I think it's okay. I don't know, it's up for discussion whether or not split shot is better than headshot, because it was nerfed recently. Split shot was, I think, like undoubtedly the better option before it was nerfed, but the attack speed nerf was, you know, a pretty big deal. Also with headshot, the range is so much larger that I wouldn't, you know, I only have to, oh that's going to be dangerous, okay. I only have to pull back a little bit to get this guy to de-link from the Defendatron, whereas if he was headshot he would be shooting me like all the way back here, because the range on them are ridiculous. Your Cyclops was a little late to the party, but I think that's only because you wanted your Defendatron to link to the Zeke instead, because if your Cyclops was quicker, it would have linked to that instead. So I think that's okay. Maybe you could have him come a little bit quicker, but you'll have to play around with it a little bit to see what you can do. Alright, lots of archers. So you have to be a little bit careful because archers do make castles quicker than they necessarily should be because they die very quickly. So you'll have to be careful with how many archers you put into a castle. Like Zeeks and archers, they have the ability to do a ton of damage, but they're also really easy to kill if you set up well and you, like, you know, volley them or whatever. They're one of the lowest hit point elites and lowest hit point, you know, non-elites in the game. Oh, that's really good. That's gonna kill me, isn't it? No, it would have killed me 100% if I was your level, though. This is one thing that I'm still not used to. Is the traps under this mat. I've seen it a couple of times now, and I'm still not used to it. It gets me once in a while. So this springboard trap, you can't really notice it under these carpets and stuff. I actually wouldn't mind if somehow we were able to get these as decor for our castle, and we could put it on top of things like this, so that you can kind of mask those. That would actually be pretty interesting. I think that should be something that the devs should look at for bringing these sorts of traps back into the game, because I think people have gotten at least me, I've gotten a little bit more lenient about dodging these Hungerbots because I know that there's not really much that can kill me, right? You have damage immunity when you're being pulled, and springboard traps are so easy to see with camera rotation. Whoops, I just pulled a... I used a potion instead of rotating my camera. But either way, you don't really see springboard traps anymore because they're so easy to see. So I've gotten a lot more lenient about just letting Hungerbots pull me into things. Obviously not when I'm like try-harding castles in competitions or anything, but when I'm just kind of going through castles, I'm definitely more lenient on not dodging Hungerbots. So I think it'd be cool for us to be able to have like maybe even just a certain number of carpets that we could lay down, just different styles and stuff like that. I think that would be interesting. Alright, throw down the volley. Let's see, what do we have? 2 Zeeks and 2 Defenetrons. This can definitely have the potential of doing a ton of damage. It is possible to dodge their shots, but it's very difficult when you have 2 of them, you know, as you can see. So it definitely has the potential to kill people. It adds a lot to your sustained damage. I like this boss room. Yeah, the only thing I would say that to worry about is that maybe you use too many archers and that, you know, volley could definitely ruin your day. Even at your level, one-shot volleys on smelly archers should almost always happen. It really doesn't even matter. Even like 2 levels lower, you probably will get your archers one-shot volleyed. So it's something to keep in mind. That is number 3, so we'll end the video here. If you guys enjoyed what I do, please subscribe. And as always, you know, if you want to be a part of Viewer Castles, you can email me at frenzycastleruns@hotmail.com. Comment on my castle by attacking it and leaving a comment after you leave, or commenting on the video. And I'm actually not sure because YouTube's new comment system, I'm not sure exactly how it works. I'm hoping it doesn't hide random comments, because I've heard some stories that it like hides comments that aren't upvoted or something. I don't know. If that's the case, like that way of submitting for viewer castles won't work, because I might not be able to see your comment. But yeah, definitely email me, and that's the easiest way. I don't really lose emails, right? They never get lost in like, you know, if a video got 100 comments or something, sometimes I would miss one here and there. So emailing me is definitely the best way. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.